Hello, everyone. This is Level with Me. This is my show where I play through games and talk about what I think the level design is doing. And here I've improvised a new cam setup. So you might have noticed in the previous weeks I didn't have a camera showing on here, but now I do. I'm actually hooking Zoom into OBS. I'm using Zoom's fancy green screen technology, AI machine learning thing, and then piping that into OBS. So now I can do the overlays like I used to. So that should be fun. Uh, Today we are probably finishing up the We've Got Hostiles chapter of Black Mesa, which, if you'll recall, is a remake of Half-Life 1 and the Half-Life 2 engine that I used to work on way back in like 2008 or 2009. Um, and then we'll probably be finishing up We've Got Hostiles and then maybe doing the first half of a chapter called Blast Pit. So let's get started. Oh gosh. Oh, look at all this stuff happening. Oh my goodness. Might need to reduce some of the volume here. Okay. Okay, let's get into it. Oh gosh. God, look at all this stuff happening. The god rays are a little bit much. I don't... a little bit silly. I don't know, but maybe I like it? I don't know. Okay, so we just got through a big, long chapter previously where we were... Oh, look, there's an osprey. We were going through all this like military warehouse, fighting all these soldiers, and now this is our first glimpse of the surface area. And now we can see the sky, we can see the sunlight. It's a little bit weird that all these light fixtures are on, but it's like daylight outside. I think the lighting just feels a little bit weird when you have both of these things on. I think I probably would have... Oh, what's going on there too? The layout of this is also a little bit strange too. I think I would have probably made bigger windows right here to get more sunlight in, and I would have kept these light fixtures off. I mean, I guess it's cool how this is like a plausible big warehouse with a bunch of stuff to look at, but it does feel a little pointless. I don't know. It's hard to fight these guys. They're like really far away. Oh crap. Ah! Can I go through this door? What's the point in putting these... Am I supposed to like go into here? What is this? Oh no, these blinds are steel blinds. Can't go in. Okay, I don't know why this whole thing's up here. It's a little bit strange. I thought maybe there would be like a way for me to flank the grunts outside by like coming up here. Oh, they're coming in. Ah! Oh, they have a height advantage on me. Yeah, all my guns aren't good for long range. It's just kind of annoying to fight them. And then there's this big no man's land in the middle, so I don't know how I'm supposed to... Do I run over here? I guess I'm just supposed to run around here. Who's shooting at me? Oh, this guy. Yeah, everything's I think there's like a mortar. Someone's like shooting at me. There's a bunch of grunts spawning in the outside. Now, I think the flow here... Oh, yeah, there's like the missiles coming down. Yeah, encounter-wise, I don't really like how this fight played out, just because the grunts don't really have any good options for rushing me. They always just come through this weird little choke point here. Can I close the door? No. And then I'm also stuck at this choke point too. And then they have like all this height advantage on me. They have like a mortar that's like shooting artillery down on me. It's just like kind of... I don't know. Yeah, it's not... This fight doesn't really feel good. I guess it's not supposed to feel good, because really the critical path for this is fighting them isn't even what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to... You're kind of just supposed to go into this bunker with this flashing red light and then hide underneath so that you don't get hit. But it's just kind of annoying because I think most players don't want to do that, right? Most players, this is our first glimpse of being outside, and you know, you want to stay outside. You know, we're sick of all this quarantining and self-isolation. We want to go outside, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, the original plays out like this too. I think there were more shipping containers in the original. It was a little bit more of a warehouse vibe, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel good to have to run into this bunker and not check out the outside. I mean, just for the sake of it, I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, where are my cheats? And you know, just turn on some cheats so we can walk around and explore. So you can see there's just a bunch of mortars coming from over there. And check out how this whole scene is constructed. Yeah, the original is also very different in that there's much less for you to look at. There's much less scenery. Here, there's really long sight lines off into the distance, so that's like an incentive to just stay outside and see what's happening. Oh my god, is that a leg? Ew. Yeah, I don't know, but then... So visually, I just feel like there's all these incentives to stay outside, but then there's, I think, endlessly respawning grunts. Who are... Ooh, he has a nice cigar. And then they have really good cover against you. Like, it's really hard to fight these guys because they're shooting at you from fairly long range and they have really nice defenses against you. There's also artillery just raining down shells on you constantly. It's a lot of mixed messaging, I think. And I think I would also have the same similar beef with the original as well. Let's see, art-wise, I like... The rocks look good. I think the rocks look... Technically the geometry is fine, and I think the texture technically is fine, but oh, I guess there's like a big texture seam there. I think what's a little bit strange though about the rocks is that there's just like, it feels kind of blobby and soft. I wish there was more structure to the rock faces. I wish there was more like, you know, like shelves and like scaffolds kind of for these cliffs. But yeah, that would be my critique of the cliffs. I think you can also extend another critique to these cliffs, which is they don't really resemble the original. The original is like very like red tinted rock, which I think is a nice color contrast. And here they're in this remake, they're a lot more orange, which is and like brownish, which I don't know, might be more realistic. I don't know. Oh my god, there's just like a corpse. There's like bodies up here. Okay, let's go down into the bunker. Yeah, I think you could redo some of the signposting and wayfinding here just to make this feel a little bit more inviting, especially since this is the first time we've been outside in Half-Life for a while. Other than just this dinky little red blinking light, no, that's not enough. Okay, let me turn off my God mode. Oh, and then you get locked in. The bunker caves in on you as soon as you walk in. So I guess that's good. Let's see, all of this layout is pretty much the same. I think I remember this room actually from the original. Oops. Thanks for the reminder. Okay, let's go in. And then there's this weird thing. I think grunts should be repelling from the top. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly. Oh yeah, there they are. I called it. Okay, then I have to like jump across into here and then climb this ladder or something. Can I break that? No. Oh, ouch. Oh. I pressed E to get off the ladder, but then it kind of just spit me out and let me die. Oh, oops. Died again. Maybe I can just drop down this way? Yeah, maybe let's not even use the ladder. Oh, folks are saying in the chat. Oh, ow. Oh. I shouldn't have paused out there. Sorry for any frame rate issues. My home internet is not fancy academic internet. Okay, let's see. Now we're crawling through this vent. Laying down some boxes. I guess this is the elevator that we saw in that hallway earlier. Oh. Oh, it's a shame we can't open this door and go back to... That's a shame. Oh well. And now this should be, and now this is taking us all the way back to the beginning? It's a bit silly. Let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing here, though, before we continue. So we just came through this vent, and we're going through all of these identical corridors. It doesn't feel... It's not the most interesting architecture. Also, this light fixture feels a little bit strange. Should probably rotate it 90 degrees. It's weird to have an exit sign here, a very prominent exit sign, but then the door is a fake door. No, so this should theoretically be a really cool point that reminds us a little bit of Office Complex, where we are able to open all these locked doors and then create like a sort of non-linear hub. But it looks like these are all fake corridors. They're not real corridors. Oh, this is a real one that we actually walked past, it looks like, previously. So we just went through a big level transition. You might see all this level. This is all the level and map we played last week. Oh, my upload is really bad. I'm dropping a lot of frames. Oh, well, I can't do anything about that. Sorry. Blame the poor state of American internet infrastructure. But let's keep flying around. I just want to talk a little bit about what's going on here. Let's see. So yeah, all this previous warehouse hallway stuff was what we were looking at previously last week. And it was pretty interesting to run through it. Now, I think ideally what's cool is that you can, like... I don't know, ideally, yeah, there's a cool... so previously in the Office Complex chapter, there was a cool thing where you could open up more and more of the level, and then until it resembles this big, like, interconnected, non-linear kind of hub. But now, you know, it seems like we're almost... I feel a little bit, you know, robbed a little bit of that opportunity. It looks like some of the level design could even support this, right? Here's the hallway we're in right now that we went through the surface. But now when I look through this, it's like, oh, why didn't you, like, put a cool little window for me to, like, recognize it? I don't know. I think one other critique I have here is that all these hallways literally look the same, a little bit too institutional. It would have been really nice if we had a big open window to something so that we could, to like a very distinct landmark, so that we could understand where we were in relation to the previous level where we were walking around. You know, it's not really backtracking, right? It's kind of like a Skyrim, Oblivion, like loop around kind of thing. Loop around structure, which feels satisfying, kind of. It's like a fake backtracking. Oh, I like this little workshop area. You know, it's just reusing leftover props to make an area where you can really tell what the task was about, and you can be very like resourceful. This is like a good level design kind of trick. Oh, in the chat, you Gurkity, sorry if I mispronounced that, says they got a level designer job 3 months ago, and they wanted to say thanks for these streams. Oh, well, thank you for watching, and congrats on getting your job. Oh, who's he talking to?
Shit.
I should avenge them, right? Uh-oh, I'm gonna die now. Maybe it wasn't worth avenging them. This is cool though. I mean, this is a little bit what I was talking about earlier, where it's fun to visit prior areas and see what happened. But it just sucks that they don't let you open up the doors now. Like, why not? I mean, maybe the reason why you wouldn't want to open up this door is that it might trick the player into thinking that now they have to backtrack literally somehow. Um, so it might be worth it to keep the flow in Critical Path very linear and very forced if you found a lot of players were getting lost. But on the other hand, it would feel so good to like unlock this shortcut or whatever. And it would help make the level just feel a lot more like organic and nice.
Well, so much for the government.
Hey guy.
Their idea of containment is to kill everyone associated with the project. Judging by your hazard suit, I'd say you were part of what went wrong. Isn't that right? Now look, if anyone can end this catastrophe, it's the science team in the Lambda complex at the opposite end of the base. With the transit system out, I couldn't tell you how to get there. But there's an old decommissioned rail system somewhere through here beyond the silo complex. If you can make it through the rocket test labs, you might be able to worm your way through the old tunnels to track down whatever is left of the Lambda team. You can trust them. You can trust all of us.
Right. Oh, oops. Sorry. Finger slipped. So let's talk about this room. You know, he was just gonna be really noisy and annoying. Would have really messed up the vibe. Okay, let's talk about this room. So let's see. I think the glare, the reflection on this glass is just way too bright. It's like I can't. So this was supposed to be a cool moment where we're able to see outside and where we're able to see this door open, but it's it's ruined partly by the fact that that the glare and reflection, the cube map strength on this glass is just way too strong. You can't even see what happened or what was unlocked. And this is not helped by how dark this door is lit too. So it's just, there's two things pushing against that. I feel a little bit robbed of that like nice moment, and they even had that like nice little musical sting or musical interlude thing to clue you into like the progression happening, but then I don't know, it doesn't actually, can't even see what's happening. I think a lot of the problem here is that maybe someone tuned the lighting here to be much brighter so that you get this nice effect here on the floor and you get these nice shadows. But when you make it so bright like that, you don't account for how it actually illuminates the room, then yeah, I can't even see what's supposed to be happening here. Kind of a shame. It also just blows out the lighting everywhere else too, like on this floor, it's just way too much. Just the glare and the bloom is too strong because here on these computer consoles, it looks fine. It's not too glary, and then the floor is just way too glary. I mean, I think I have HDR on, so it should be adjusting, but you know, HDR has its limits. Oh, we should get some health. People in the chat want to know if I'm going to avenge this scientist too. I would avenge that scientist if I knew how he had died. I don't, you know, it's impossible to avenge someone when the murder is just totally unsolved and you don't even know how to avenge him, But, I guess that's just one more unsolved mystery that we'll never solve. Oh well, too bad. So I feel like, yeah, so these previously, when we came through here, these blast doors weren't shut and these crates weren't here. So it seems like a very intentional thing on the part of the level designers. Maybe, I guess they did play testing and they decided that it wasn't worth unlocking all these doors and letting the player wander back around because it was just going to confuse them. Um, yeah, cause of death. I don't know. I guess um, officer involved shooting. Freeman involved shooting. Who shot? Who shot him? I don't know. Oh, and now I can reuse these. Can reuse these chargers. That's nice. Oh, in the chat, Rectus says in the original, this door gets blocked as well. Oh, now I have so much health. Okay, so now we're in this hallway looking place. Looks appropriately grimy, I guess. Like a very dirty little bunker thing. Oh, and I recognize these shadows here. So now begins a chapter called Blast Pit. Blast Pit is one of the signature chapters of Half-Life. It's one of the most memorable, iconic parts that a lot of people remember. So there's a lot of pressure on whoever's remaking Blast Pit to make it to like fulfill all these like iconic moments and try to keep a lot of the same architecture, but make it even fancier looking. I believe the main level designer responsible for a lot of Blast Pit, at least early on, is Daniel Unick or Junick. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, Daniel. Where I think a lot of Daniel's approach was to go all in on the pipes. So here you can see this pipe has like a million sides to it. And also just go all in on this projected shadow grading. So early source, like when we were working on these levels in like 2008, which is probably when the majority of Blast Pit got built, around 2008, 2009, did not have fancy projected shadow real-time technology. So all of this is just pure light maps, super, super dense light maps. Right? These luxels are almost like 1 or 2 pixels wide, very, very detailed. And in order for you to do this, you can't actually light map your entire level at such a dense luxel density, or dense luxel resolution. So here you'll notice these light maps are much lower resolution. Here these luxels are probably maybe like 16 pixels per luxel or something like that, and then these are like 2 pixels per luxel, 2 pixel wide luxels or something, or the other way around. Anyway, so in order for to have these really intense, sharp shadows, you have to almost build your level ahead of time to plan for that. So you have to build a relatively isolated hallway section for you to project these fancy shadows onto, and then you have to make sure it's cut off from other parts of the level. So here you can see that you have to just plan ahead for the shadows. You're building for the shadows. Which, I mean, not my personal taste. Personally, I probably wouldn't have done it like this if I had been building Blast Pit, but totally okay, valid choice that some people really like. Very intense shadows. It might remind them of horror, and this is kind of a horror, scary chapter too. So it might remind you of horror films, like especially sci-fi horror films, like The Thing or like Alien or the game Natural Selection, right? Where it relies heavily on these really sharp, stripy noir style shadows. It's very dramatic feeling. Helps you feel like it's industrial and gritty and grimy, but on the other hand, you almost have to build your entire level around these like hero shadows. You're like guitar soloing these shadows, which the player might not even appreciate or might not even like. I don't know. My personal opinion is, yeah, I probably wouldn't have done it exactly like this. But you know what? I didn't build this chapter, so too bad for me. Now the rest. Now this room, I enjoy this corner a lot more than this hallway. And the reason for that is it just feels a lot more like softer, right? You're relying more on the materials. Oh, this is really low resolution. You should remaster this ground texture. It's a really good. You're letting the materials breathe. You're not trying to like cram so much detail where it's detailed neural maps, then detail textures on top of the detailed neural maps, and then you have really high density light maps and shadows on top of all this stuff, right? Where you're just trying to cram the enough like overdraw or whatever per pixel to get all that fidelity, and you don't really need that. To me, this feels a lot nicer because there's like kind of more space for my eye to rest on. It helps make the detail pop. In order for detail to pop, you need areas of contrast where there's no detail, where it's a lot softer, where there might be more white space or negative space. To me, this feels just a lot more balanced. And then it also communicates more of an industrial vibe, even though this is just a very boxy corner with barrels and crates. To me, I don't know. I like this better. I don't know. So this is weird. Like, why? Why build this little alcove thing just to make the player climb up this ladder to get this battery that you dangled in front of us? It's a little bit funny. I don't know why you would do that. I mean, yeah, I don't know why you would do that. Maybe part of the reason why. Okay, some reasons why you might do that are you want to give this feeling of exploration. Like this was literally like a 5-second detour, but maybe a 5-second detour is enough to help make this otherwise very linear critical path from going one end of a hallway to another. Maybe that little bypass, little side area is enough to make it feel nicer. It's the opportunity to give you these nice dramatic shadows from the railing, and it feels a little bit more organic to me than this one. Other reasons why you might do this, to open up this room a little bit, make it feel a little bit less, cramped or boring. I also feel like, I think the real reason you would do this, you would open up this room and build this mezzanine to give you an excuse to put this strut here. Because these struts are really nice looking. They're kind of fun and industrial. They give you a nice silhouette right here. Yeah, personally, I think my suspicion is that it's here mostly to give you an excuse to put in this prop. Okay, let's keep going. Ooh, bull squid. Ah. There's a lot of spread to the bull squid spit here. It's like radioactive too. It kind of looks like something else, which I'm not going to mention. I think there's a head crab in here. Oh, or a zombie. I remember something being in here. Here, another crowbar in case we needed one. Some more grenades in case we needed them. Let's see. Let's look at this room. Yeah, I like this room partly because yeah, the lights are bigger. We're not dealing with all these like small little fiddly little shadows. The lighting story, the lighting direction makes a little bit more sense to me. Let's see. So, yeah, this was a funny little encounter, right? So there was a zombie here. The zombie got up. I think there's explosive boxes here in order to trick players into shooting the zombie. And then when you miss the zombie, you end up accidentally shooting this box and then hurting yourself. Maybe that's why that's there. To give you an incentive for you to do what I did, which is where I retreated from the door threshold and waited for the zombie to come to me and then shot him when it was safe. So maybe that's what that little encounter was about. I also feel like this encounter might have been about maybe I could have done this instead, where I could have just tossed a grenade in there. And then that could have killed the zombie as well. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. What is going on here? Oh, this particle effect doesn't look good. Might need to remaster that. Ooh, I like these fire buckets. I wish these were physicsy fire buckets, though. But very old-fashioned. Really nice detail that clues you in to the, like, era of the architecture we're entering, right? Where it now feels more gritty and older and industrial. Oh, hey, Andrew, how are you? In the chat, McLoganog in the chat says, this looks like Stalker or something. All these noisy, rusty metals and moldy concretes. Yeah, I totally agree. But you'll recall this is before Stalker, technically. Half-Life is in 1998. So Stalker was riffing off Half-Life, if anything. Let's see. Oh, and then I had to come in here to open this door? But this has a little bit of the same problem as we were just talking about in the previous security room, where I have to press this door, and that opens that dinky little cage door down there. But when I'm standing here opening it, I don't have a good sightline to it. So it doesn't feel technically, you know, if we were doing 2020 era level design, a modern contemporary level designer would be lining up the sightline from this button to the door much better in a much more specific way. See, anything else I'm missing? But I like how this overall room is detailed. I like these little TV things. I think these are from Half-Life 2. I think these are from Nova Prospect. I think this decal's from Half-Life 2 or Counter-Strike so as well. I was thinking, I like this this wall texture right here. It almost made me think of like 60s, 70s wood veneer paneling, but actually it's just rusty metal. It almost feels like we're on a boat or something. Submarine style architecture. These trusses are really nice. There's some pretty bad ghosting on these, aliasing on these trusses though. It looks like the background on them is white. So when you get the bilinear filtering on it, you get these weird little glowing edges that don't feel good. You might need to update that texture and fill it in with black instead of white. Or maybe that's an artifact of the flashlight? I don't know. Was that explosive? No. Oh well. Are these explosive? No, this is just radioactive waste. It's just toxic waste, people. Let's see. I'm a big fan of this floodlight. Ooh, and there's even like a nice glow sprite, like a nice glare effect on it. Good job. I'm a big fan of floodlights. To me, this is one of Half-Life 2's big unsung contributions to level design, where Half-Life 2 just went all in with all these floodlights everywhere. Where there's like a really high fall-off constant to them. So you get these really nice dramatic shadows. Yeah, I'm a fan of floodlights. Let's walk up here. What's over here? So you'll notice there's like a little bit of level design guidance here, right? There's a little red light here because I can break through here. And I guess this is like an alternate path into something. There's like all these grenades. Why are there grenades in the ventilation shaft? It's a little bit strange. I guess this was an alternate way around all that stuff. If we didn't want to go into that booth and open the door, we could have gone this way? I don't know. Or is this actually the critical path? Oh, the textures on this are just way too low resolution now. And the detail texturing does not do enough here. Definitely need a remaster this chapter, I think. I mean, not the brushwork. The brushwork is overall quite nice, but I think you need to remaster the texturing. Definitely. Yeah, I wonder why there's this ladder here. That's a little bit strange. Did I need to go that way? Maybe the elevator up here is broken. Let's see what would have happened. Okay, let's say we didn't go down these ladders and we went this way instead. I'll go in here. Well, I like how big and roomy this is. Press the button. Oh wait, so the elevator just doesn't work anyway. So why doesn't the elevator work? How do I make the elevator work? Was there another button I was supposed to press? Yeah, it's not really clear to me. I mean, maybe the elevator locks itself once we go through this trigger? Yeah, I don't know. Strange. I think one thing I would do, I'm not really a fan of this back and forth we have to do with all these ladders. I probably would have pulled a Metal Gear Solid and just made it one really super long ladder that just goes all the way down, I think. Or it also reminds me of one of the best parts of Final Fantasy VII. A few hours in is when you have to like break into the, that big skyscraper in Final Fantasy VII, and you can either fight your way through or go through 20 different screens of climbing the stairs. I'm a big fan when games make you do really long, boring climbs and things. Uh, that's it's awesome. Very high concept. Okay, so now we're in this big tunnel right here. The sound design here is pretty nice. I like all these clanks and metal sounds off in the distance. Very like echoey. What's in here? Just some med kits. I don't really need anything though. Oh, shotguns? I guess I'm full up on shotgun shells. And then there's this very handsome train here. Very nicely modeled. This is very faithfully recreated from the original Half-Life 1. I don't remember a lot of train sections from before, but I guess there were a lot. This is almost a preview of another chapter called On a Rail, which is also notorious, but notorious for being unpleasant. But this is our preview of controllable trains. Oh, that's sad. Now we're going through this really nice tunnel. Oh, it's very long. Very long. I don't remember it being this long. Oh, and we crash into here, into some toxic waste, as you do.
Radiation levels detected.
And now we have to make our way across. How do I get up there? I guess I have to jump up here. And now we can go ahead and do this little jumping puzzle. Before we continue, wanna go back and look at some of the construction here. So yeah, this is oh my god, look at how long this was. Tunnel stretched all the way around. Oh my god. So this is another type of construction that I would personally just never do as a level designer. This is the level designer here showing off with creating a really long, high detail round thing with a really far, long sightline. Remember the way the wireframe works is if you see red or pink, that means a level designer built it. And if you see blue or teal, that means more like an environment artist built it. It's a reusable prop. Really interesting detail with this construction here, where this part right here, a level designer built, but then this curved metal thing will have been really hard to build. Ouch, rude. What is this? There we go. What was it? Oh, now it's all ruined. Ugh, okay, I'll go over here. So it's kind of like, yeah, the best of all worlds, I guess. So much of level design is also repetition, right? This is just one thing that environment artist built, but then you just copy and paste that over and over and over. And that repetition and that rhythm helps you give you that sense of like space and scale. think these glow sprites are a bit too much. I would tone these down. They draw so much attention to themselves, but they're not even important. So I don't know. They could just be turned off like anything else. Oh, they're these weird little turbine things. Yeah, you see these in contemporary bridges, actually. Or not bridges, road tunnels. I think these help circulate air, or do they generate power? I don't really know why there are turbines in tunnels. Maybe someone in the chat, maybe there's a civil engineer in the chat who can pipe in about what these actually do. But still feels very plausible. Well researched. In the chat, looks like Chris says, Crisis 88 says it's for air circulation. Yeah, ooh, look at that crack. It's a nice crack decal. But you should probably redo that brush geometry. That doesn't look too good anymore. Yeah, maybe it helps circulate air, get rid of the carbon dioxide or something. I don't know. I like the shader on the toxic waste. Good job, whoever did that. It's like extra murky water. Okay, I need to jump. Okay, don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this up. There we go. Oh, and then I have to climb over here and go on this pipe. Oh, and then go inside this pipe thing. This is a nice broken split up pipe. Wait, am I supposed to go in here? Yeah, it looks like I am. Oh my god. Some car batteries, some shelves. Some toxic waste. You know, same old, same old. I think I remember this room being different in the original. There's more of like a... I think it was more cramped, maybe? I don't remember. Ooh, fancy little microtape mainframe thing. Very retro. I like it. Oh, ouch. Let's throw some grenades at them. There we go. Oh gosh, look at this room. Yeah, I like the sense of scale is nice. This feels pretty faithful to the original too. Except I think it feels even bigger than the original. But that's good. I think you'd want it to feel bigger than the original. Yeah, so this whole texture theme is called Silo. And what does a silo look like? I've never been inside a military silo before, so a lot of it is just conveying some motifs we've been seeing earlier in the chapter, which is really big, tall, concrete things, a lot of rounded architecture here. Some of the boat style architecture also conveys this. And then here's a little light jumping puzzle where I think we have to get into this elevator. Is this the right way? Oh, and that's the end of the level. Huh. I mean, I guess you needed that because that whole tunnel area was huge, right? So you probably do need a level change, map change. Aw, Hound dies. Aw, feels sad to kill. Oh my god, so many. So many puppies here. It is sad to kill them, though. Aw. And now we enter the main silo complex, which is, yeah, very well done. Just notice how it's this big round thing trying to convey what a silo is, what it would be like to be in a silo, similar to the beginning of Half-Life, where we're also in like a futuristic chemistry lab. How many of us go into chemistry labs? How many of us even know what that looks like? So it's like Hollywood reimaginings of like hypothetical military silos or military chemistry labs or whatever. Let's see. One thing I like about the blast pit style is that there's a lot of consistency. He basically built out a kit of reusable parts and then just keeps reusing that kit over and over. So that's what makes it feel like one cohesive place. You see this one metal thing just over and over and over and over. I also like how he embellished on this texture. I think you would have to redo this though, because the illusion of depth on this texture doesn't work too well anymore. Probably have to replace this with a nicer prop where you can actually model the extrusion or intrusion out. Because now it just looks a little bit silly. Especially because it's at eye level and we're looking at it up close. Let's see, what else is going on here? I like how this is a chapter where, although I was critiquing the very sharp little shadows, I like how a lot of the level still feels dark, but not too dark. You know, it's like the fake Hollywood darkness.
Mission depleted.
Oh, is that guy okay? Oh, okay. What's in there? Looks like we can't go in here yet. Ooh, I also like, I like this. I like this catwalk right here. Really nicely done, and I like this shape right here. I think it's very tempting to just repeat railing all the way around over and over, but the way you interrupt the railing like this feels very like authentic. And it also gives you an excuse to put in these cool little cable things right here. But yeah, just really nice sense of scale here. A few nice features are on this vertical pipe here. Oh, hey, excuse me. Excuse me. I'm trying to give a tour here. Very rude. Now he's just like ruined it. Look at this. Ugh, anyway. So there's all these little red lights here. These red lights here are to give you a sense of scale and to give you a sense of perspective so that you can count all these little red dots and eyeball roughly how tall this thing is, which is very tall. Oh yeah, in the original, I believe these are destructible, and this whole catwalk is destructible, right? But it looks like that's not the case here, unfortunately. Maybe there's a later section where the catwalk is destructible. Let's see. Yeah, there's this very fancy, very indulgent curved ceiling. I probably would not have wasted my time building it. I mean, is it wasted time? I don't know. Again, you can see this is red stuff, so the level designer built this out of brushes. It probably wouldn't have been that difficult to build because all you have to do is in Hammer, you keep building using the arch tool, and then you select the top section of all these vertices, and then you hold, I think, Alt E on the keyboard, and that will help contract all the vertices. So it probably wouldn't have been too hard to build this, but this is still obvious, very much obviously a level designer like showing off. There's a question here. McOganog asks, does this use forced perspective? The way forced perspective would work with this is if we are down here and looking at here, if the distances between these red lights get narrower and shorter as we go up. So it kind of tricks us into thinking that it's taller than it actually is. I don't really have my ruler handy with me, so you'll have to kind of eyeball it and tell me, do you think this is still evenly incremented? I feel like they're still evenly incremented. I feel like there's not forced perspective. Forced perspective, in the real world, you would see it famously used in like theme parks, like Disneyland uses a lot of forced perspective, where it makes you think things are like 2 or 3 stories when actually they're just like 1.5 stories tall. But yeah, I would say I don't think this is forced perspective, although they could have done it, I think, if they wanted to. Let's see, anything else to notice? No, I think we're pretty much done here. Let's just go inside maybe. In the chat, Clem06 says Half-Life 1's weapon models, the view models in your camera view, use forced perspective, especially the 357 Magnum, which we do not have yet, unfortunately. That's interesting. I wonder why. Wasn't it rendered separately at a different field of view? Why would you need to model it differently? Oh well. And then there should be a level change? Or not. Ooh. Ah. Was he okay?
Fire the rocket engine. This damn thing before.
Wait, why did it take 3 shotgun shots to kill him? Very strange. Oh yeah, so what just happened? There's a question. Did we just teleport? I think we did just teleport. So you'll notice that in here it might have seemed we were up here and we went inside this door. Did we? Yeah, we went inside a door similar to that. Oh, did we go inside? I don't know, one of these doors. And then the airlock teleported us over here. Oh wait, was it over here? Uh-oh. 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 I just crashed Black Mesa. Uh-oh. Oops. Uh the screenshot says too many indices for index buffer, tell a programmer. uh oh well, too bad. Well, I guess that's a good place to end our run and broadcast for today anyway. Tune in next time where we will see what was inside that silo and remind me to go over what that teleportation trick was because I think it's interesting. Although it would probably crash Source Engine again, so maybe I shouldn't do that. I don't know. Anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. Sorry to end on a crash like that, but you know that's how video games work sometimes. Um, Next week we will be playing through and hopefully finishing Blast Pit. Again, Blast Pit is one of the most key, iconic chapters of Half Life, so it should be really interesting to see how they approached it. Uh, okay, have a good rest of your day, everyone, and peace out. Bye.